Alright guys, so in this session we are going to talk about this topic, sociology as science. So this is your chapter 2 and this is the first topic that we need to handle here. Now what all things you need to focus on when you are preparing for this topic is actually you need to know the context of this debate. Now is sociology a science or not? Give arguments for being science and for and against for sociology being science. Like this, they will ask you questions and you should be in a position to answer. First, you need to specify the context and then you need to talk about science. What is it all about, right? Now, when we discuss about science, you can divide into two parts. The initial understanding of science, how earlier science is understood or interpreted, and how later the view on science has been changed. So initial understanding, one side we will discuss, and on the other side, later understanding of science. And based on which we will, come up with certain conditions for any body of knowledge to become scientific. So first we specify the context, then we define science, the initial understanding of science, later understanding of science, then we talk about the conditions for any body of knowledge to become scientific or qualified to be scientific. And then what we do is, as I have discussed in the question, give the arguments in favor of sociology being science. And then what you do, arguments against sociology being science. And then we will conclude. So this is how it is going to be, okay? And in conclusion, we will have to be very formal. We will not say sociology is not a science. At the same time, we are not going to say sociology is similar to natural science. We will have to answer in a diplomatic way. Of course, sociology is not similar to natural science like physics, chemistry or biology, because sociology is dealing with human beings. Human beings have emotions, when you discuss about chemistry, which is dealing with matter. Matter do not have consciousness or emotions, and you can predict the behavior of matter. So you boil water at 100 degrees Celsius, you know what is going to happen, or you freeze it at freezing point, you know what is going to happen. 0 degrees Celsius, what is going to happen. So this can be predicted easily, but human behavior, human emotions, human consciousness, we cannot predict. So sociology can never be similar to natural science. Sociology can never be studied like the way you do in natural science. For that, we have separate set of methods and approaches, but still we conduct investigation in a scientific way based on logic, evidence, reason and testing and everything, and we can call it as scientific method of inquiry, and we can conclude it as a social science. It's not similar to natural science. See, the later understanding will actually help you. I told you later understanding and initial understanding on science. Later understanding of science is more of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. If the method of inquiry is scientific, if the method of inquiry or the investigation is based on evidence and reason and logic, then that can be considered as scientific. In that context, sociology is a scientific discipline, but not similar to natural science. Of course, it cannot be, and make the difference very clear. Natural science dealing with matter, the emotions which do not have any emotions, and the behavior can be predicted in terms of cause and effect. You do certain things, then what is the outcome? You can predict. So the behavior can be predicted in terms of cause and effect when it comes to natural science. Example, I have given you matter. You know what is going to happen if you boil at 100 degrees Celsius or freeze at 0 degrees Celsius, right? So the natural science deals with matter whose behavior can be predicted, and therefore you can establish a clear-cut cause and effect relationship, which may not be possible with respect to sociology, as sociology is dealing with human beings who have emotions, consciousness, and the behavior cannot be predicted. So if you are looking for prediction and everything, which is not possible, but the investigations are done in a scientific way, okay, the methods are scientific, in that way you can consider sociology as scientific, and that's exactly what we are going to formulate. I just told you the conclusion in the beginning. I'll discuss about the context. So I hope you understood this is what you need. It will be a 15-minute lecture and I'll make it very clear. See guys, detailed videos and everything you can get from the course. If you need the PDF of the complete set, not the PowerPoint, here briefly I have taken the points only that you can download free of cost. The link is given in the description. So now what is the context? What is this debate? Whether sociology is science or not? So any question from the first 3 chapters, you always start with emergence of sociology, right? Everything starts with emergence of sociology. So sociology emerged in response to challenges posed before modernity in medieval Europe. And what the initial sociologists wanted to do, if you remember that I have discussed, Auguste Comte, Saint Simon even dreamt of social physics, which is similar to natural science, right? A physics of society is possible according to him. Auguste Comte wanted to make universal theories. That means some theories which are applicable across the universe, which is possible in social world also. Is it really possible? And he made certain theories also, and all those got questioned before, later. Okay, and Herbert Spencer's organismic analogy we have discussed, right? He compared it with society with an organism using an evolutionary perspective. So initial attempt was to make it similar to natural science. Why? Because science will get more legitimacy and authority and authenticity. So sociology is a new discipline. Already established disciplines are there. So when you consider or when you say this is a scientific, discipline, then you get that acceptance. So initial sociologists wanted to make it similar to natural science, and they proposed social physics, universal theories, and made also. This was the initial attempt. But what happened after some time? The people came and they started questioning the universal theories and the possibilities of universal theories in the social world. So here is the debate which is starting, whether sociology is a science or not. Can sociology be studied in a manner in which natural science are studied? Because the subject matter is completely different. Subject matter in natural science is matter which do not have consciousness. Subject matter in sociology is ultimately, the ultimate reducible element is the human being whose behavior can never be predicted. The way I behave or you behave or anyone for that matter, we cannot predict in any situation. So how can someone predict? You cannot predict an individual behavior. How can you predict society, which comprises of thousands and lakhs of and crores of individuals, right? So this actually is the core of this debate. Now that you can write in hardly 30-40 words, 2 or 3 sentences. Sociology emerged in response to challenges posed before modernity in medieval Europe. Initial sociologists wanted to make it similar to natural science, and they used the methods which are readily used in natural science initially. But later, the claims or questions were arised on the applicability of methods from natural science directly in sociology. Also questioned the universal theories which are claimed to be developed by the initial sociologists, and that's the context. Okay. Now we need, okay, we have the PPT. Let's go with the PPT that way. So this is a historical context. Initial sociologists wanted to make sociology similar to natural science for getting that acceptance or that legitimacy or that authenticity or that authority. And they use the scientific methods directly from sociology, like statistical techniques, etc. And the objections raised, the questions raised on the applicability of scientific methods to study the human behavior, human emotions. Okay. Now, let's now focus on the definition of science. See, I told you there are 2 ways in which you can define science: earlier understanding of science, later understanding of science. Earlier understanding of science is based on the body of knowledge. A body of knowledge is understood as scientific if it follows certain principles like empiricism, universalism, objectivism, etc. But later understanding of science is not merely based on the body of knowledge, it's based on the method of inquiry. If the method of inquiry is scientific, is based on logic and reason and evidence and tested and objective, then that can be considered as scientific. So if you look for the earlier definition, sociology can never be scientific because they are talking about objectivity, they are talking about universalism, right? And they are talking about empiricism, inductivism, so many other things are there which may not be possible when it comes to sociology. But later understanding, we can connect with sociology. Okay, so let's go with that. empiricism, inductivism, universal theories. So these are the initial understanding of science. Empiricism means study external aspect, quantifiable reality. Only those things which can be quantified can be studied. Okay, but emotions, can it be quantified? That way itself, it's gone, right? Inductivism, theory building from data without prior assumptions. Universal theories, producing widely applicable explanations. Okay. Now, modern definition, it's based on scientific method. Focus on how knowledge is acquired, not what is studied. It's not about what you study, it's all about how you study. That's the difference. Now, allows for consideration of sociology as a science. If this is the definition of science, then we have a scope, we have a possibility to have a debate. If the previous one was the definition, there itself we need to say that sociology will never qualify for that. But if this is the case, we have a possibility to have a debate. Now what we need, so we discuss the context, we discuss the understanding of science. Now we need to lay down certain conditions for any body of knowledge to become scientific. These conditions are, remember, 4 or 5 conditions. This must be required in your answer. Inter-subject reliability, quantifiability, objectivity, theory building, and testability. Okay, I repeat, inter-subject reliability, objectivity, quantifiability, theoretical orientation, testing. So we will see whether sociology qualifies this. So we will look at 4 arguments and against also. Okay, and then we will conclude. Conclusion anyway I told. Okay, so conditions. Inter-subject reliability means across the subject, it should have the same meaning. See, when I talk about oxygen, nitrogen, atom, etc., across subjects it's the same meaning. Correct? So that's what I mean by inter-subject. Across the subject, the meaning should be same. Now I'll tell you the positive for sociology. For example, when we talk about family, religion, across the subject it is the same. So sociology also, to an extent, inter-subject reliability is there. I never say complete inter-subject reliability, to an extent. Okay. Quantifiability. You need to define the scope of study very clearly. Chemistry, we have a clear-cut guideline where it will stop. Right? Physics, biology, math, etc. We have a clear-cut scope, quantified. You remember when we discussed about the scope of sociology, what was the discussion towards the end? The scope is widening, the scope is broadening, it's going unlimited. If that's the case, is it quantified? But when we discuss about argument 4, we need to manipulate slightly. So I told you it is spreading across the subjects like clinical sociology, criminal sociology, sociology of that, sociology of this, etc. But I'll discuss arguments in favor of it anyway. Objectivity. So there should not be any personal bias in investigation. Okay? But in sociology, we can conduct investigation without personal bias using methods and everything. Yes, but there are a lot of situations where personal bias will come. Human beings studying human being. A Muslim is studying a Hindu. A Hindu is interviewing a Muslim. So what will happen here? The question will be based on prejudices of the interviewer, and the answers will be prejudiced based on the interviewee. So the question is also biased, answer is also biased. So what is the resulting conclusion? Right? So, but still we will have methods to ensure objectivity. Theory building. Do we have proper theories should be there? Now let's look at the arguments in favor. I have already mentioned. Let's talk about topics like family, religion, etc. Do we have the same meaning across the subject? Yes. So to an extent, inter-subject reliability is there? Yes. Okay. Quantifiability. See guys, sociology, the scope is defined. For example, when we discuss about Emile Durkheim, we say sociology should study social facts. Weber says sociology should study social action. We discussed this already in the scope. And when we proceed with thinkers, you will understand. So you can use this and you can tell that even the extreme abstract forms of society has been defined properly and quantified by Emile Durkheim in terms of social facts. So to an extent, quantifiability is also there because scope is defined. You should study social fact, you should study social action, like that. Okay. Now, objectivity. See, this is a line, cut, copy, paste. don't apply your mind. Although absolute objectivity is never possible in sociology, what I'm saying, 100% objectivity is not possible. Why? Human being studying human being. So what I'm saying in the line, just mug it up, cut, copy, paste the same line, don't apply your mind, okay? Although absolute objectivity is never possible in sociology, but sociologists try to ensure maximum possible objectivity by using proper methods and proper techniques, etc. This is a line that you need to write. So here you are saying in one single line itself that absolute objectivity 100% it is never possible, but we try our level best to achieve that, right? So cut, copy, paste that line. Don't even apply your mind over there. Theory building, you can give a lot of examples of the theories that you're going to learn. Historical materialism, Marx, class struggle, alienation, division of labor of Durkheim, suicide, right? Many theories are there. So I'm not getting into that. I'm just guiding you here. Everything is there in the PDF. You can download it, okay? Now, okay, it is separately given. Inter-subject reliability, yes. Sociology show considerable amount of inter-subject reliability. Example, concepts like family, religion, groups, etc. having the same meaning across the subjects. Quantifiability. So thinkers have clearly defined scope of sociology. Here you can write about social facts by Emile Durkheim, social action by Weber. That's how they defined. Okay, so mention that. And different definitions exist, leading to some vagueness also. Okay. Objectivity. So here the same, absolute objectivity is difficult when humans study humans, but sociologists strive for maximum objectivity through proper methods. Training of the investigator can lead to better objectivity. See, objectivity means free from personal biases. Okay, so training can lead to an objective study. Okay, now theory building in sociology. So diverse theory, sociology produced numerous theories. You can write n number of examples: Marx theory, Durkheim's theory, Parsons theory, Merton theory, Mead theory, Weber theory, whatever you want you can write. Testing, okay, that I have missed out, right? See, when it comes to sociology, you don't have a lab like physics or chemistry. Entire society is a testing ground for sociology. Okay, so a lot of opportunities you will get for testability and everything. But how will you criticize? So that is for argument. Now, how will you criticize testability? Is it possible to test everything? For example, marriage. How can we do the testing, family, like these things, right? So there are a lot of difficulty, practical difficulty in testing. You can say possibilities are there, you know, entire society is a testing ground and everything for the sake of saying, but at the same time, when it comes to practical reality, there are a lot of hindrances. Okay. Yeah, here I have mentioned the challenges. Difficult to test concepts like marriage, religion, etc. Now, sociology versus natural science. See here, sociology studies humans with consciousness. So, natural science study matter which do not have consciousness. So, here you cannot predict the behavior. Behavior less predictable, or practically it's difficult. Okay, in normal circumstances, you may be in a position to predict my behavior, but that may not be the case all the time. Same with everyone. But here, the behavior is predictable in all situations. Like I told you, boil the water, you know what is going to happen. Freeze the water, what is going to happen. We know that. Cause and effect is harder to establish here, but here it is possible. So now here in conclusion, which thinker you need to mention is Weber. I told you the conclusion, right? See, the ultimate difference between natural science and social science, sociology is the subject matter. Sociology study human beings who have consciousness, but natural science study matter which do not have consciousness. Therefore, the establishment of cause and effect is possible easily in natural science as the behavior can be predicted. But here, since the behavior cannot be predicted, establishment of cause and effect is difficult. But still, we use trained investigators, proper methods, etc. to have a better understanding, and the method of inquiry is scientific. Therefore, sociology is a scientific discipline. It is not similar to natural science. This is the last line that you need to write. Sociology is not similar to natural science, but it is a science in itself. And we can consider it as social science. Just cut, copy, paste this line. Okay, don't apply your mind again. So Weber emphasized the difference in subject matter between sociology and natural science. Human consciousness, sociology study beings with consciousness, complicating the predictions and objectivity aspect. So Karl Popper also, now you can use Weber for talking about the subject matter. You can talk about Karl Popper for talking about the method of inquiry. See, previously I told you later understanding of science, it's all about method of inquiry. Karl Popper is also saying the same thing. So method over knowledge. It's not about what you study. It's all about how you study. It's not about the knowledge, body of knowledge. It's all about the method of inquiry. So science is, now you can write if you want in this way, science is understood later more in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. It's not about, what, it's all about how, right? That's how you can say sociology is science. So scientific approach, this view support considering sociology as science due to the use of methods. What could be the conclusion? Sociology as a science. Sociology is a science due to its scientific method of inquiry. It's not a science similar to natural science, but it's a science in itself due to the method of inquiry, and we can consider it as social science. It's distinct from natural science. It differs from natural science in subject matter and challenges. So it's a social science. So that's about this topic, and I hope this is covered in the best possible way. You don't want to read any text or anything for this lecture. You might have understood. I discuss the context, initial orientation of sociologist, the questions arised, the debate, the understanding of science, earlier understanding, later understanding, the conditions, intersubject reliability, quantifiability, objectivity, theoretical orientation, testing, discuss the arguments in favor, discuss the challenges or arguments against, right? And then we discussed about the arguments against also, right? For every case, intersubject reliability, but I told you already, considerable amount of intersubject reliability is there, but not fully. Similarly, absolute objectivity is not possible. There are limitations. Quantifiability, sociology, the scope is unlimited actually, but we try to quantify. So there itself, I have discussed. In the PDF I have given in detail, you can get that for free of cost. You can download it. Theory building, there are a lot of criticisms of the theories which are claimed to be universal. Okay. Testability also I have discussed the problems. So that's it guys. I hope this topic is clear. Don't waste much time on preparing. See, one thing need to be done one time. One mentor, one approach. Now, what is the question? What is the point in watching any other video for this topic or reading hundreds of material for this topic? What extra you're going to gain? You will be able to write maximum 200 words if the question that you're getting is about 20 mark, right? So don't waste your time. That's all I want to say. Whatever you need to cover this topic, if the question is asked, we have done in the best ever form. So thank you so much. See you in the next video.